the thing that sticks with me is something John and I talked about in the first half. They really got great production out of the bench in this one, and not just that they outscored the Knicks with those three guys or that all of them played well, which they did. They integrated them well with the other starters. I think you saw a little bit more of two bench guys with three starters, John, as you like to see out there, and Tatum obviously.
And they changed the rotation a little bit, because normally you were leaving Holiday on the floor with Brown, and this time it was White left on the floor with Brown when Tatum went out on that first sub, and they changed that up a little. And if you noticed, like, a couple of these games, there were some weird lines where, like, it all looked good, but then you'd look at the plus minuses and the disparities, and Tatum's plus 42 and Brown is plus 9, but Brown led the team in scoring with 29. So the lineup combos with Brown in them didn't seem to be working as well. It looked like Joe tried to tinker a little bit tonight and try a different combo.
Yeah, the one they really liked in the fourth quarter was Pritchard, Hauser, Holiday.
With Pritchard,
Yeah, and Tatum goes the whole fourth quarter. But the first half rotation, the first quarter one, which you didn't like, that got Tatum some valuable rest early where you didn't have to play him over that 40-minute mark late. So the rotations were good here tonight. You only went -1 in that first quarter rotation, and then you went +8 in the third quarter, one that you mentioned there, where they're pressing and doing all that other stuff with Pritchard out there. Thought Pritchard looked great. Hauser's on fire. Not much more to say than that. And Horford, I thought, has switched well. He's not.
Pritchard closed the half too instead of Holiday. It was interesting. They liked him. They liked him in that spot.
Wow, Horford really gets some high praise. He switched.
Horford hasn't played great this year by any means, but the one thing he's doing for them that's still super valuable are those small lineups where he switches. He can still get out on a Brunson and stop him, which is just incredible at this age. And I was looking at some of the Raptor stats, and he's a +0 offensively, but +2. 2 points added, per 100 there defensively. So he's still impacting the floor on the defensive side of the ball, according to the analytics. So, he's not shooting well. He's not making those eye-popping plays that he would in spots the last few years he was here. But Horford off the bench, still the valuable contributor as a backup there. So they're moving in a good direction with that second unit.
Do you feel good about Al?
Defensively, yeah. Offensively, it's rough. He's not shooting well. He dropped that pass and turned it over down low. He's not a threat. He doesn't have great gravity on that end of the floor. And even his
passing. That's a lot of bad stuff you just rattled off, Bobby.
No, he's a +0. So what do you expect?
You just threw his name through the mud.
+0? Yeah.
It comes for all of us.
That math's not mathing.
There's senior moments with Al this year I haven't seen as much. So, as you said, kind of
Sherrod's face.
No, but defensively is what you're looking for.
No, he's talking about what Bobby said.
They're pairing him with Porzingis a lot, so you don't need the offense as much at that center spot. He's just spacing out there, which is fine. And his shot will come. We know he's a better shooter.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say that, man. I'm not worried about it, honestly.
But he's not shooting. It's not that he's like he took 2 shots tonight. One of them was a dunk. So it's like
I'm okay with him not shooting at this point because they don't really need that from him. They need him to defend, rebound, be good on switches, and get the hell back off the court and keep the score.
Theoretically, he should be wide open in the corner like every single time down, though.
Yeah, but theoretically, I'd rather him keep the ball moving if he's wide open to get a great shot. Because to me, if he's open, that's a good shot. I don't want necessarily a good shot from Al when he's on the floor. I want great shots when Al's on the floor. And he needs to keep the ball moving, unless it's a dunk or a layup at this point.
He's supposed to be 40% three-point shooter. If he's wide open, they should want him taking that shot. That's
40%. You know how many
tonight?
His attempts have dropped dramatically, though.
I know.
I mean, that'd be impressive for him to still shoot 40%.
But
right. He's in a weird. I mean, he is in the toughest spot on this roster.
This is the toughest. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, he's out of all the Celtics players. It might be stating the obvious in some regard, but he has to make the biggest adjustment, and I think he'll be fine. Honestly, I'm not worried about him, pulling it off.
I think Father Time is helping him make that adjustment.
Right.
I think Father Time is helping him make that adjustment to taking fewer shots, playing fewer minutes, doing less. Because to John's point about JB, and I think it's applicable to Al, less is more at this point from Al Horford.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely defense, rebounding, offensive rebounding. I think you could see a little bit more from him, and that's probably where he's got to make his biggest impact on that end. Passing, I still think he can do a little bit of, but it's a tough adjustment. I mean, he's only come off the bench 14 times in his entire career before the season, and now he's doing it every night. Didn't do it a ton at Florida either, if you look back. So it's a change, and I've talked to him here or there early this season, and his general tone about it is don't love it, not to quote him, but doesn't love it, but it's what we got to do.
I think it would be fair to ask him how he is adjusting to it. Like we're a few games in here, a few weeks in. What's working, what's not working for you? Is it take a little bit longer for you to feel like you're kind of rolling in that offense? And is that why maybe the shots are down?
What he's told me is when you're starting, you're trying to set the pace of the game. And when you're coming in, you're just trying to be an energy guy. So like we talk about with the Neesmith and Brissett's of the world, I think that's how he's looking at his role. Like just run around, defend, crash the boards, and boom, that's your game off the bench. Like he's viewing it as an energy role rather than being completely integrated into the game plan as a starter. And that starting lineup's obviously been everything for them. Like they're mixing in a few guys here or there when they need to. But in that second half, John, they were ready to let those starters roll in the third quarter until like the 10-minute mark when they finally made some subs there. So Missoula's playing tight with this, and we've talked about how they've been light with Brissett the last couple of games, and Stevens hasn't shown his face, Bant and all these other guys. It's just Missoula's coaching style. Like he is very, very tight with this rotation.
And again, it's very clear like who's in his circle of trust, and it's just these 8 guys and nobody else. And so like this isn't the night to get in on the bench, but it's still a concern with like you want to see if anyone else can step up. You really don't need 9, 10, 11 players, but you have all these guys there. You'd like to see if any of them have any use for you at all. And I don't know who the next man up is. I really don't know.
I don't think they know either. Yeah. I don't think Joe knows either.
It feels like it's Banton.
I don't even know who they want it to be. You know what I mean? Is like you got to have your clubhouse favorites. Like I'd love to see. I like this guy's skill set. I'd like to see him come through. And I know Brissett kind of got first whack, and then when a big is down, and when they're down a big or they rotate, Cornette gets his minutes. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
FanDuel is the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
But yeah, why so tight tonight? It was almost like a playoff game with the 8-man rotation.
I just think that was the energy.
That's talked about Knicks. Yeah, that's the way the Knicks are rolling, right?
And Missoula, like he said, he told us after the game, like he loved that. He loved that from New York, and I think that's going to happen against these teams that you're getting that second go around under less than a week. You know what I mean? Like same thing's going to happen against Philadelphia. They're going to go up to Toronto for that in-season tournament game. I think they're going to look. It's going to be a much more harder game for them to win. But I think Missoula prefers it this way. He's challenging, not back to back, but facing teams in this division twice in the same month or within a 2-week span. I think helps these guys because you're going to get that intensity from opposing teams that have a worse record than you. I mean, Philadelphia is the exception here, but we'll see how they look on Wednesday night, especially 1 week, after their last loss.
You had to play this way to win this game, Sherrod.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the thing, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, but whenever you play the Knicks, it's going to be a physical game. They're going to try to play bully ball any and every opportunity they get. And I thought Tatum, I thought Jaylen Brown, I thought everyone on this team embraced that phicality and found ways to handle their business and not let it deter them from the goal, which was to come out here with a win. And to me, it's part of their growth. The ability to beat teams in a multitude of ways so that teams can't get comfortable with any type of style that they can take advantage of. The Celtics have the ability to kill you from 3-point range. They're one of the best 2-point shooting teams in the NBA. They've got guys who can defend at multiple positions. They now have at least one guy that shows the ability to get you some points off the bench. And so when you're game planning against them, there's really no comfort. There's no comfort blueprint you can go to and think, this is going to work. This is what we got to do to win. And that, because the Knicks, I thought for the most part, played their game tonight. I thought they did a lot of things that they wanted to do. It's just that the Celtics are better. The Celtics are They just got more weapons. They got more talent. They're just a better team.
Mm-hmm.
And it came easier to the Celtics. You see the looks that they create.
These last two games, especially, don't you think?
Yeah.
Something's clicked. I think these last two games, where they look a little bit, like
last three, really.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do when you're a great team, though, right, John?
Like very cohesive, right?
Right, yeah. but that's what a great team's supposed to look like after you lose back to back, especially on the road. In the way they lost those games, right? One's in overtime.
These things take time, and like, that's what's kind of impressive. Is like it's hard to like judge because like some of the early impressive games were Indiana with
they shot the hell out the ball.
And Washington, but they shot like crazy. I feel like this last little stretch here has been super impressive and like really like looking a little bit more together because we said, Bobby, first 5-6 games they shot well, but still a lot of ISO, and it felt like it was just dependent on the shots going down. It feels a little different.